Alrighty, traders. This is Blake Morrow. You are listening to the Daily Roundup webinar. It's actually been a pretty slow, well, for currencies, it's been pretty slow. We've seen some up and down movements, I guess, since the election. We've seen a little bit of movement here. Hold on really quick. Sorry about that. So we've seen since Europe or North America's come in, we've seen a lot of dollar just kind of weakening as we've seen Biden continue to pull ahead in some of the states. And I have to be frank, like last night when I went to bed, I was like, well, it looks like Trump's going to win. And then getting up this morning, I'm like, maybe that's not going to be the case. And I think that is that the possibility of Biden actually winning, even though it's not a blue wave, so we can't get like some really crazy spending bills coming through. That's kind of a really good scenario. You got that type of situation, at least in the near term. I still think that taxes may increase, but I think eliminating some of this uncertainty is helping equities. Now we are at the 78% retracement, that resistance that we talked about. That's right here. Okay, 34.85. Next resistance is going to be right there at 35 and a quarter, which we've all discussed this morning. So we're at that 78% retracement. Will equities continue higher? I mean, at this point, it seems like it. There are some things that are pushing us towards that, and one of them being like the Aussie. You can see the Aussie's about ready to recover 72 cents. And if you look at what currencies might do here, I mean, the Aussie could make a rally back towards 73 cents. The dollar Canadian is at risk, especially after stopping out anybody that was short overnight. The dollar Canadian's at risk of maybe breaking down towards 30. This is some pretty key support that we're coming into. And the euro dollar is just not flattish, but we could, the euro dollar could possibly move back up towards 118. So so sorry guys that I'm yawning. I'm tired, as you can imagine. It's like I think I've got like election fatigue at this moment, and I'm sure all of you guys are all witnessing the same. One of the other things that's leaning me towards some continued risk on is the dollar Mexican peso. I played this long earlier for a bounce, and I lost a little bit of money, not much, but I thought, oh hey, we might get another opportunity to buy it down here, and I did buy it as we were approaching 21, and then it bounced, and then by the time I got out of it, I lost a little bit. And I'm like, stocks continue to be strong. We could see the dollar Mexican peso really attack some of the support. So these are the levels here where if you start to see some of these break, like the 2085 level in this dollar Mexican peso, you've got to believe, or let's say 131 in the dollar Canadian, you got to believe that equities are going to continue higher. Is there a risk of a contested result? Yeah, there is. And I don't know why the market hasn't really discounted that as of right now, but maybe it's the fact that we might actually have Donald Trump just concede at some point rather than being embarrassed, going through a process and then really losing, and then finding out he's really lost. I mean, that's all up to his advisors. I would have thought right now he'd have been a lot more aggressive. We're gonna fight this thing, and I'm surprised that he hasn't used that verbiage yet. And I think maybe the fact that he's not super vocal at this moment is kind of like a concession speech in a way. I know there's still a lot to be done for Biden to win, and there is no doubt right now that this race is extremely close. If you look at, this is Fox's Decision Desk HQ, and you look at the map, and knowing that we still have states that are counting and going to continue to count, and these battleground states, it's important to note that you can't get really comfortable in whatever you're doing, whatever trades that you're taking right now. But I think one of the things that's powering like stocks higher, you're seeing some of the, sorry guys, some of the trades that are unwinding, I gotta, take the safe route here and, not be long stocks. Look at the stock market over the last, couple of weeks. We've sold off. We've sold off quite a bit. Now we've recovered a lot of that because people are looking ahead, towards Biden, who's going to be softer on China and on trade. But even though taxes are higher, corporate taxes might be higher. You see corporations have dealt with it as a whole. The NASDAQ's strong because, probably going to be less regulation on some of the, tech companies. So, we'll see. But all I have to say is we're range bound right now in a lot of assets, and it's hard to be too directional. But I think, especially if we're dealing with the dollar, the dollar index is in the middle of the range. I'd like to see it pop out of this range, just like, the S&P. I'd like to see it pop out of the range. We're still in the triangle, even though we're getting towards the upper end of the range. I'm not super excited about anything at this moment. I wish I was, but I'm not. And we are flirting with some pretty key levels in some of these pairs. Predominantly, I would say the Aussie around the 72 cent level, the dollar Canadian at 31, dollar Mexican peso. This is huge support at the 2080. I know we've been writing 2084, but it's the 2083, 2084, somewhere around here. All very, very key supports. If you ask me what to do with the yen pairs, I don't know. I don't, like, I look at the dollar yen. We spiked above 105 and back down again. Oh, shoot, what do you do with that? Maybe it's buying some of the Aussie yen, and this is one that I've actually was looking at last night. Here's the New Zealand yen. That's a 4-hour chart. Here, let me put on a daily chart. Better. Okay. There's the New Zealand yen. Yeah, it's been really choppy, but man, if we could get above, 72, that'd be really bullish. I know that's a ways away. It's not like anything that's, being tested right now, but it's things like that I'm really longer term paying attention to that help give me some direction on, where we should be taking risks. But stocks are well bid, and that's, the NASDAQ's up 5% right now, 5%. I keep thinking in my head, we didn't get this blue wave, which would have been probably bearish for equities because let's say that you get a Biden win and you got, both House and Senate being, controlled by Democrats. You're going to have some wild ideas going through. But it's not. There's going to be some checks there. So Biden's only going to be able to do so much. But doesn't that, could we get a spike up towards 3,800 and maybe a move down? Yeah, we could, and that's why I think you have to be a little careful. Selling risk at this point. Anyway, guys, I wish I was in a more excited state. I'm like so tired right now. And Joe says, I think the Trump drama will be a sideshow. It might be, I don't know if he has any legs to stand on. I don't know if he really does. And then I think the market's kind of looking past it, and that's why we're up where we're at right now. Brock says potential blue wave with Kamala as a tiebreaker. I don't get that. What do you mean, Brock? I'm sorry, I don't understand what you mean by that. But yeah. Anyway, all right, guys. I'm going to just be sidelined I'm in the chat rooms. I'm just I'm waiting for. I told you what I'm looking for. Really, it's like the dollar MEX, dollar Canadian, Aussie. Seeing what's going to happen there. I think those are pretty key. So anyway, and for those of you that are with the Aussie New Zealand long, I'm still liking it, and it looks pretty good. We are starting to get overbought intraday, but daily charts still have a lot of room to run, so we could make it past 108 here. Anyway, have a great. Brock says Senate votes, let VP vote. Got it. Okay. Got it. All right. Hey, that's what Brock said. Thank you. And guys, have a great one. Thanks for all your support. And I feel like I've been in the chat room like for 24 hours straight, but I'll still be there. I'll see you guys. Thanks.